So, and like murder, cannibalism, all the warnings like that you could think of. She is a fictional character, but this stuff is very real for a lot of people, and I understand if it's not something you're interested in or able to watch. So I just wanted to let you know. I have other videos on my channel. If those would be more calming, this might not be the most calming to some people though. So I just wanted to put this warning in, just in case you this will not help you or cause you harm. So yeah, thank you and enjoy the video if you're going to watch. Bye bye. Hello. I hope everyone's doing well and that everybody had a good week and that you're ready for the weekend to have some time to just relax and just, revitalize yourself. Today or tonight, depending on when you're watching this, I thought we could talk a little bit about Ethel Cain, specifically Preacher's Daughter, the album. I don't know if that's her newest album, but yeah, I thought we could talk about it because it's fun. Listen, let's do, my ramble intro. I actually started filming last night a video reading the lyrics from, sorry, just moving the mic, from Preacher's Daughter, the album, but then I wasn't feeling it, and I was feeling a little bit in like a creative rut, like I wasn't feeling inspired, but filming and failing made me like, I don't know, it made me just want to talk about it instead of reading the lyrics. I can still do that if you guys would like to. It's a really great album. I would recommend it 100,000%. So once we're done here, once you wake up from your nap or your sleep, whatever, you should really go listen to it. It's a really great album. I swear it changed my life last summer. I don't know what it was, but I felt like I was levitating when I first listened to that album. So yeah, that's what I would say. But anyway, as I said, you should definitely listen to it after this video if you want to. If not, that's okay too. And if you would like to have a video of me reading the lyrics, I can do that. Anyway, I have a lot of notes here that I wrote last night. So, and I guess I should say, yeah, the first thing that I'm gonna read is Genius, from the Genius website, from her lyrics. For each song, we're just gonna do like a play-by-play, because it's a story. The album is a story. And yeah, we're gonna do a play-by-play. So there you go. Anyway, like I said, the first thing is gonna be like the about section in each of the song lyrics from Genius's website. So that's where you can find the first parts of these. So the album starts off with a family tree intro, and Genius says that family tree intro sets the stage for the 76-minute epic that is Preacher's Daughter. Over 13 tracks, we learn the story of Ethel Cain. Set in Alabama in 1991, the album details the character's troubled relationship with religion, her old flame, her father, the titular preacher and beloved member of the community even 10 years after his death, and her eventual kidnapping and murder. I'm pretty sure Ethel Cain is a fictional character, but Hayden, the actual person that writes the songs, she said that, like, I think she said, like, a lot of them are based on, like, some of her past traumas. So, there you go. So, as we heard from that, Ethel Cain was born into a very strict and very religious household. She's the daughter of a preacher in the American South. I mean, that's terrible. I should also say, I'm pretty sure Ethel Cain, the character, is trans. I know Hayden is a trans woman, but I don't know if Ethel is. I think she is, though, which makes her life achievable, and that if nothing else, you should at least die trying. What they don't tell you is that you need your neighbor more than your country needs you. I wrote this song as an expression of my frustration with all the things the American teenager is supposed to be, but never had any real chance of becoming. So, American teenager paints this picture of her disillusionment, and the pressure to be pure, to be obedient, and basically to just be this good little, like, Christian girl that's going to, like she said, change everything. But she's dreaming of something, bigger. So, no matter, but no matter, like, how much she fantasizes about running away, because that's a lot of this, she knows deep down that outside, the world outside of her small community is not going to be much better, because it's kind of the same for every American teenager. You're told all these fantasies, and I mean, it rarely comes true unless you're like a rich, born into being rich. I mean, and if you're white, it definitely helps, and cis and straight and all that fun stuff. And then we get a house in Nebraska. There's actually no A in front of it, I just added that. Genius says that Ethel thinks of her ex-lover, Willow B. Tucker, who left town before the events of the album. She remembers the good times they shared and longs for him to come back home. This song is gorgeous, y'all. Like, you can just hear, like, I don't know, I've cried to this song many times. She visits the abandoned house they would spend time in, imagining it was their own, somewhere far away from their hometown of Shady Grove, Alabama. So, when she finally, well, no, not really, but yeah, like it said, a house in Nebraska, she reminisces this old love that she had with Willoughby. He made her feel safe and truly loved, I think. It's really, I don't know, it's just such a sad song about, like, nostalgia and looking back at times that you had with a specific person. I'm sure we all have experienced that, almost that feeling of, like, abandonment from someone that you really love and really trust. But yeah, she's really just longing for this home that, I mean, they never really had this home, and it never truly existed, but she just longs it, and, I mean, I don't know, the love was unfortunately never enough to save her, so that's where we're at so far. And then the next song is Western Nights, okay? So, Genius says, Western Nights tells the story of Ethel and her new man, Logan Phelps. Okay, Logan Phelps. Logan is less than kind, at times violent, but Ethel finds herself hopelessly in love with him despite his faults. So, she finds herself drawn to this new lover, this new guy, and he's honestly a pretty dangerous guy who lives outside of the law. He doesn't care. This song is low-key, like, kind of seductive, and it's reckless, and it's filled with this, like, thrill of running away, I feel like, but there's always something, I mean, there's something sinister beneath the surface. She knows that she shouldn't trust this man. I mean, he literally, like, beats her and uses her purely for her body, and I think she knows that, but she trusts him anyway, and she loves him anyway. He represents some kind of escape, I think, and that's enough for her, which is sad, but hey. And then we have Family Tree. So we had Family Tree intro, and now this is just Family Tree. After the death of her boyfriend, Logan, so the one we just talked about, in a police shootout following a bank robbery, Ethel finds herself on the run from the cops. Things get worse when she discovers a disturbing family secret. So, with the family secret, many believe that the secret has yet to be revealed. She plans to release 2 more albums surrounding this trilogy. I think it's Preacher's Wife and Preacher's Mother. I hope so. And Ethel is currently writing a book detailing Ethel Cain's story. some people theorize that maybe Ethel or her mother killed her father, but that's not confirmed. I low-key think her mom could have done it, but I don't know. Others think the secret could be that her father did something really terrible to her. I'm just gonna say, like when she was a kid, he was touching her in the way that he shouldn't. But because which people think that this could have been like a discovered secret, because when stuff like that, when very traumatic things happen to you as a child, like you will often repress those things. So some people could think that she discovered it by remembering that it happened, or that the family learned what had happened to her like years and years later, because I mean her father's been dead for a decade now, like, so but we see here that no matter how far she runs, the past is always going to follow her and haunt her. Family tree reminds her that the trauma of childhood still lingers, and at least this is how I think it is. It's very like up to interpretation. I mean, any art is the sins of her father and the weight of her mother's silence within that, which I don't know if she was silent, because if her mother killed her father, then that's kind of silence, but also like kind of not. And then the shadows of generations before her, like I said, what happened to her grandmother happened to her mother, happens to her. They are all stitched into her skin, and she fears that she will never truly be free. I mean, don't we all? Oh my gosh. And then we have, I'm taking off my slippers, my feet are low-key kind of hurting in them. Then we have Hard Times. So this is a song I've cried to. I don't even know how many times. It's so sad. But Genius said that closing out of Act 1 of the album, Hard Times sees Ethel reflecting on the sexual abuse, I don't know if I could say that, she endured from her father when she was a child, and the complicated feelings she has in regards to him. So this is where we see like a much deeper layer of Ethel's suffering. She sings about like the pain that her father caused her. Oh, it's so sad, y'all. I can't. The fear that he has instilled in her, and yet like there is still a part of her that longs for his love, I think, and for the approval that she never really received from him. It's filled with sorrow and so sad and conflict within her, and it's just another like show of how trauma will linger inside of us, and like I mean, even when we try to leave it behind, it's healing journeys are long, and I mean, I don't know if it ever really, it never really goes away, so I also think that she still feels like very stuck in this trauma, specifically because she says, "I'm tired of you, still tied to me," and she repeats that a couple of times, and I don't know, y'all, that song is something else. She put something in that song for sure. And then next we have Thoroughfare. So Genius says, Act 2 of the album begins with Thoroughfare. Ethel, having run away from home, meets charming Isaiah, okay, who offers her a ride. Together they drive from Texas to California. Over the course of their trip, they find themselves attracted to one another. So she rides across the country with this new lover, okay? I'm not Isaiah's biggest fan, I'm not gonna lie, I hate him. And pictures like a quiet life with him, I think. Maybe a home in like the mountains, a simple, peaceful existence, But we, listeners, know that this happiness is very temporary. This man is not a savior. He's a captor. Like, he literally, like, how I've read stuff about it, and how I interpret it is that he low-key, like, kidnaps her, and she just starts developing, like, Stockholm syndrome. The road, it doesn't lead to freedom, okay? It leads to imprisonment. And then that opens his sense of reality. The title refers to Charles Dana Gibson and the women he famously drew, often considered the pinnacle of American beauty standards. Interesting. But yeah, in this song we see Ethel fall deeper into the world of exploitation. This song is kind of eerie, kind of like detached. I don't know, like my boyfriend, when I play this album, that song will come on and he's like, once it's over, he's like, is that from the same album? Yeah, it is. So that same man who once gave her hope, Isaiah, now sells her body and feeds her bad things on the regular into her veins. She begins to lose that sense of reality, like Genius said. And he basically controls her every move. So she is no longer in control of herself, and she is slipping away piece by piece. But as far as I know, she is unaware that Isaiah is feeding her these substances at the moment. So, interesting. Then we have, I am going to butcher this name, y'all. I definitely should have looked it up before, but I didn't. So we're just gonna have to butcher it, okay? Ptolemy, I don't know. This is how it's spelled. It's probably backwards for you, but if you want to write it out and try to say it, that's cool. Okay, Genius says, under the influence of Isaiah's drugs, Ethel begins to hallucinate. She confronts the darkness. The song name is inspired from Alighieri's Divine Comedy, specifically Dante's Inferno. Tomia, after the Ptolemy. I'm assuming it's like a T because pterodactyl has a P in front as well. So I'm assuming it's a T. Named after Ptolemy is a circle of hell in which the traitorous reside. Maybe this was a reference to Ethel abandoning her family and faith only to be met with a wrath far worse. I think that it could be a reference to Isaiah betraying her, even though I don't think he ever truly loved her, but she would likely feel betrayed by him for doing these things to her. So this song is low-key, like, horrifying to me. Like, the pure emotions that Hayden put into this song is absolutely fabulous. Like, I love it. In this song, her lover basically becomes, like, she can finally see that, like, he is a captor. He is not her friend. He is not her lover. The song is terrifying. There's distorted screams and a voice that, I think that part of it is from the point of view from Isaiah. Like, he's talking a lot in this song. And then we can basically hear Ethel, like, what is this piece of hair? We can basically hear Ethel Cain, like, begging for her life, like, telling him, like, what, please don't, like, stop touching me. So, yeah, she's trapped. She's held against her will. She's really pumped up on substances, and basically her fate is sealed. She cannot escape from this at this moment. So then we get August Underground. Okay, so Genius says Ethel wastes away in the attic of an abandoned shack in the woods of Northern California. As Isaiah reveals his truest nature, she accepts her fate and faces the end. The title is a reference to the infamous pseudo-snuff film of the same name. If you don't know what a snuff film is, as I understand it, it is basically a video of somebody getting unalived. Yeah, pretty messed up. So, I don't know who would watch that. Some sick people, I'm not gonna lie. If you watch those, you are sick, okay? And not in a good way. But yeah, in this song, she's barely there. Like, as I understand it, she's like in the attic of Isaiah's nasty house, and she's dying. So we hear, like, I think that we can kind of hear the sound of someone giving up. It kind of feels like watching something unspeakable unfold. I mean, in slow motion. Her voice is very quiet, very distant. It's kind of just like a humming, but she's disappearing. Basically, she's dying. So in that song, she ends up, she's over, to be honest, like, it's over. Then we have televangelist because it feels like the veil between life and death is kind of growing thinner, I guess, and she is leaving this world and slipping into heaven, so I guess that's good. There's fully peace there. And then we have Sun-Bleached Flies. Y'all, this song, I can't. I know it's probably like the most popular, but I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. Like, there is a reason it is the most popular. So, Genius says, in heaven, Ethel makes peace with her death and reflects on her life, her family, and the man she never stopped loving, Willoughby. So, the guy from a house in Nebraska. So, by the time we reach this song, I think that Ethel knows that God has forgiven her. I mean, she's in heaven, so, and with that comes, with that understanding comes more acceptance. In death, she is free from the suffering that she endured basically her entire life. I mean, she had a terrible life. She acknowledges the horrors that she endured, I think, but she also recognizes that those who hurt her also carried their own burdens and traumas, which I'm just gonna say is not an excuse for people to drug you up, murder you, all that type of stuff, or do any of the stuff that happened to her. It's not an excuse. The cycle of pain and the generational curse ends with her because she doesn't have kids. So that's, I guess, good, but it's sad. But yeah, there is peace now, so that's good. And then Strangers, I think, is kind of about a similar thing. This is the last song in the album. So, Genius says, murdered and cannibalized by Isaiah. Yeah, y'all, he eats her. He's a freak like that, okay? He's freaky. Like, murdered and cannibalized by Isaiah. Ethel says her final goodbye to her mother from beyond the grave. So, Strangers is, I don't know, it's really sad but it's also kind of funny because Aiden, or Ethel, I guess, who is singing, Ethel just makes all these jokes about, like, him eating her, which is kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, that's sad to me. Ethel is murdered and consumed, like I just said. Her captor, he takes everything from her, leaving no trace. Like, he literally eats her. Like, he took everything he could. But now in heaven, she is free. She's not trapped between worlds at all. She's at peace, resting in forgiveness. And in this final moment, I think we get to see Ethel say goodbye to her mother, which is good. Which I think offers her a good sense of closure that she longed for in life. There isn't any blame or anger towards Isaiah, or really anybody that had hurt her, because, like I said before, she finds acceptance. She knows that those who hurt her were dealing with their own burdens and traumas and pain, and that they were just shaped by that trauma. She said, in the song, she says, I never blamed you for loving me the way that you did. So, her story ends in tragedy, but her spirit is free, and she is forever at peace in the afterlife, and will probably be reunited with her mother somewhat soon, but we can only hope. I'm really, but yeah, that's the end. I'm really excited for the next two albums. Everything that Hayden puts out is actually, like, phenomenal. It's beautiful. I really like a lot of her other albums. Another song that I would really recommend is God's Country. It's so good, and, like, one I'm really struggling a lot, I think, of some of the lyrics in that song. There's one that it says, like, the road is longer than it is hard, and that is something that I always think of, because that's true. Even when you're having a hard time, like, it will get better, and your life is longer, it'll be better, and when it is, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's longer than it is hard, so your life will be longer than just this suffering that you're enduring. So even if you endure, like, 5 years of suffering, we'll say, total, then, which is not that much, I guess, for most people. I think most people probably endure more, but we'll just use 5 years. And let's say you die at 60, which is kind of young, I think, disabled adult and that things can be more difficult, but I don't think that it is an excuse to talk to